Hi, so in this video we're going to really see how data and methods powered Jim's journey to a score of 770 on the GMAT. Now, we're going to focus specifically on the reading comprehension section. And before we get into his account, let's look at some background. Jim, he started studying for the GMAT. He had a starting score of 660. He then improved to 700, and then eventually he improved to a 770. And there were major improvements in CR and sentence correction, but he also performed in the 85th percentile in reading comprehension. Also, before we go into his account, let's take a look at Jim's debrief. And the reason I want you to take a look at it is because Jim provides his ESR. You can really see how he improved over here. And for reading comprehension specifically, Jim says, look at every answer choice with the mindset that you got to prove it to me. And let's scroll down and see more details over here. And as you freeze this video, you can read this out and you can really see his advice on RC. So let's now go into Jim's account. So we're now in Jim's account, and you can see that this is our reading comprehension course. But before we go in there, there's one other course that you need to look at, which is what we call as a master comprehension course. This is a foundational course in which we teach how do you read a complex sentence. It starts with, we're teaching you what are the various building blocks of sentence. How do you read a long sentence? Where do you pause and break a sentence down and infer the meaning of a particular segment? And then we make you practice on it. What you really see over here is Jim's done this course really very well. He scored 100% in every segment. His average score in concept quizzes, practice quizzes, perfect scores over here. Nothing to complain about, lots to be proud of. Now let's go in the reading comprehension course. And once you have that foundation, we start with the foundational concepts in reading comprehension, where we teach you how do you read a passage. We teach you the various reading strategies. We evaluate you on them. Again, on the outset, good scores in concept quizzes, good scores in practice quizzes. So overall, Jim did this course very, very well. And he did every aspect of the course very well, starting with learning the reading strategies to figuring out how to identify the main point. You can see the amount of time spent over here. Jim really went into the details. As a result, practice file 1, he faltered a bit, but practice file 2, he did really well. Similarly, in inference question, good performance, good time spent over there, and consequently good performance in all the practice quizzes. And a similar story in detail. Once he got inference done, he didn't have to spend as much time on detail. Even in structure, you don't see a whole lot of time spent, but you see really good performance. And then the same thing continues on in application files, where he did really well. And barring one file where he scored at 71%, he scored perfect. He had perfect scores in pretty much every file. Again, when he made a mistake, he made sure that he revised those mistakes. You can see that from the time spent. He also did OG quizzes. Many of them he did really, really well on. So again, he did about 35 passages just in the RC course, and overall performed really well. Consistent scores. It just shows that he had the right foundation. He knew the reading strategy. He was able to apply those reading strategies in a consistent fashion. So let's go to his Scholaranium platform. And again, we're going to focus just on reading comprehension. And as always, you're going to focus on those easy, medium, hard. So overall accuracy 65%. He did about 136 questions. Easy accuracy 76. Medium, not so great 62, but it's the hard piece where he hit upwards of that 55%. He got to that 60%. Towards the end, Jim was consistently hitting that 70% accuracy, which is what powered him to that 85th percentile score in GMAT RC. Now, you don't get to that 70% accuracy in hard questions just by solving questions. You get that by making sure that you do these things well, where you apply the reading strategies well. You know how to figure out the main point of the passage. You know how do you infer information, how do you answer the detail and structure question, and you're able to prove that on not just official questions, but also on e-GMAT questions, which is where he practiced in Scholaranium. But again, look at his scores on official questions, look at his scores on e-GMAT questions. You'll see that level of consistency, which led to that 770 score or a V42 on the real test. So here's another example how data so feedback provided by data combined with using the right methods can lead you to success on the GMAT. Data allows you to react to your weakness. It allows you to identify your strengths so that you can focus and spend time on areas where you really need to improve. In Jim's case, for example, main point was one such area. You can see spending time early on reading strategies, and similarly on inference, those are the foundational skills that he spent more time to understand, and then when he did understand them, he was able to solve questions correctly with very high consistency, which led to that 85th percentile score.